Hello everyone and welcome back to more Fantasy Life. In today's video I'm going to show you all of the exclusive power-ups you can get through the skill board over here when you achieve a hero rank for all of the different lives. This actually took so much longer than I thought it would. Getting hero is one thing that already takes pretty long, but getting to the point where you actually unlock this previous to last skill board notch, because you can only see the actual effect of the final hero skill board notch over here if you unlock this one. So you need all of your lives to be at a considerable level, and I had to grind out my combat lives especially, which took like so much time. But once you finally arrive at that hero rank and you have accumulated enough of the skill points as to where you can unlock the slot, you might want to know what that slot actually does before putting all of that work in. So we're going to start over here at the Paladin life and work our way down the list. We're going to cover all 14 lives, so let's get to it. The hero skill for the Paladin is going to be Paladin's Blessing. It'll give you 20 defense and magic defense and 100 HP for all lives. So the interesting thing with these hero bonuses is that the bonus you get from this actually applies to all of the lives. So if I were to go to the Hunter life, for example, I would still be able to make use of the 20 defense and magic defense and get 100 more HP. So that's definitely a nice thing about all of these hero bonuses. Now, would I say that going for this one is actually worth it? I'm definitely gonna say don't do it, because 20 defense and magic defense really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, as well as the 100 HP. It's just not worth unlocking the 20% dodge earned, which is pretty crappy. You're better off spending the 10 skill points and 20 skill points for this skill to other skills first, such as this one, for example. This is already way better. It only applies to Paladin, but I'll still take that over getting these meager bonuses for all lives. Next up, let's go to the Mercenary, and the hero skill for this one is going to be Honed and Hardened. Pretty basic. It just gives you a -5% SP consumption for all lives. So this one is actually pretty decent, I'd say. Every time you use a skill, so a charged skill for the combat lives or just any of your skills with the gathering lives, you are consuming SP. But the thing about this is that you have SP potions, of course, so most of the time you will actually just be totally fine without having any additional SP restoring effects. And even in the gathering lives, if you just take 3 crafting buddies with you, which is actually the best thing that you can do if you are going to gather something that is pretty difficult, I'd say just take 3 crafting buddies you have a decent affinity with, and they'll probably make sure you never run out of SP again. So even though this is actually not that bad of a skill, in reality it is pretty useless. Let's go over to the Hunter next. This one is going to be Hawkeye. It'll give you plus 10% critical rate and 20% critical damage for all lives. This is the first one where I'm like, yeah, you should probably actually go for this, because even if you use crit aids, which pretty much gives you a guaranteed 100% crit rate, I believe, getting more critical damage is going to be so huge. That 20% is actually going to amount to, I think, a fair amount of damage. So the Hawkeye skill is definitely worth getting in my opinion, although I might still recommend making sure that you get the best ultra piercing arrow skill over here. This is also really good, especially if you are using the Hunter life as your main combat life. You might want to go for this one first before going over and getting the actual hero special skill, but it's definitely one I highly recommend. Up next, let's take a look at the Magician's special skill, which is going to be Boundless Mana. It's going to give you plus 100% natural SP regeneration for all lives. Just like I said before with the Mercenary one, this is pretty nice, but to be fair, you are just going to use SP restoring potions if you get low on SP, and if you need more SP whilst doing some gathering, as I said before, just take 3 crafting buddies with decent affinity with you and you should be fine. So I'm absolutely not going to recommend the Boundless Mana skill. So that's it for the combat lives. Let's take a look at the gathering lives next. Let's start off with the Minor life, which this one I even went through the troubles of actually activating it. It's going to be Focused Charge. This will give you -5% charge up time for all lives. Even though 5% is not that much, it is going to be 5% for all of the lives, so this is a pretty nice bonus to get. If you are using special skills, you do want to make sure that you charge them up as quickly as possible in combat lives so you can get access to those invincibility frames sooner, and in gathering lives so you can just take down the bosses even quicker, of course. So Focus Charge, I definitely highly recommend getting this as soon as possible. Let's go on to the Woodcutter next. This one is going to be Forest's Blessing, and it works together with the Minor one very well, because this one is going to give you plus 5% charge attack damage for all lives. So it speaks for its own, you're just gonna deal more damage with your charge attacks. Definitely recommend getting it, even though 5% is not that much. It will help you out a little bit in all of the different lives that have charge attacks. Let's go on to the Angler's hero skill, and this one is going to be Flow Like Water. It's gonna give you plus 10% special skill charge for all lives. Now this might sound weird, but I do think charge attacks are actually better than special skills in this game, but special skills are still really good, of course, so this is definitely not a bad hero skill. And then lastly, for the Farmer life, we have Natural Immunity. This one will give you plus 5% status effect resistance for all lives. This is pretty horrible in my opinion. The Farmer life is such a difficult one to actually rank up with all of the different bosses that you have to get, which is pretty much down to RNG, and then you have to actually level it up to the point where you have enough skill points to get this as well, which actually that maybe wasn't that hard even. But even so, having a stupid hero skill like this one is pretty disappointing, because a 5% resistance is most of the time not going to do anything. If you get knocked over and stunned by one of the spooks or ghosts in this game, that 5% extra resistance is most likely not going to help you actually stay on your feet. So definitely don't go for this one. That's not worth the 20 skill points. That's it for all of the gathering lives, so let's focus on the last 6 lives of the video, the crafting ones. First up over here we have the Cook, and its hero skill is the Secret Ingredient. This is no joke probably the best hero skill in the game, because it improves potency of meals used by any life, plus 20% healing and plus 50% effect duration. I can even demonstrate that right now. I don't have any bonuses going on. Actually, I do have a gathering bonus going on. But let's go into the item menu and consume one of the meals. Something important to remember though is that this will only work with meals and not potions. So that being said, let's go ahead and use the smoothie over here, which should only give us 150 crafting for 4 attempts. So as you can see, that is also going to show like this meal is going to give me increased crafting for 4 attempts. You can see that at the left. But if I actually use this meal and go to the bottom, you see that it gave me 6 attempts. So that's where the 50% increased duration comes in. It also boosts the amount that you heal from any meal, but the extra attempts or more duration that you get from that hero skill is definitely worth the while. I was very happily surprised when I actually stumbled across this one, because I didn't expect it to be any good, and in my opinion it definitely is the best skill of all of them. Up next, let's go to the Blacksmith hero skill. This one is called Weaponsmith, and it will give you plus 10 attack and magic attack for all lives when a weapon is equipped. It's kind of the same thing as with the Paladin in the beginning of this video, which raises your defense and magic defense. Plus 10 attack really doesn't do that much, so you probably actually shouldn't go for this skill. I'm also just gonna like reset my stats after this video, because I don't know why I actually obtained it. Like it's definitely not a good one. Imagine this would have set plus 10% attack and magic attack for all lives. That would probably be a pretty good skill to get, but just a flat 10 attack increase is not going to cut it for this hero skill. On to Carpenter next, and over here we have the King of Wood. This will give you plus 20 gathering and crafting for all lives when a life tool is equipped. Pretty much the same thing as I said in the previous one, the Blacksmith one. A flat 20 increase in gathering and crafting is not really gonna cut it for this ability. They really should have made these percentage based, because 20 gathering and crafting is not gonna help you out at all in the end game, and that is most certainly what you are in when you actually have the ability to unlock this skill. So just don't get this one. I don't know why I did. Anyways, on to Tailor next, and this one is going to be Bespoke Tailoring. It'll give you plus 20 defense and magic defense for all lives when armor is equipped. Pretty much the same thing as before. Plus 20 defense and magic defense really doesn't do a lot. Why did you not make these bonuses percentage based level 5? Come on, what are you doing? I'm really hoping they actually fix these down the road, because some of these abilities are just straight up bad, unless I'm understanding this wrong, but I'm really quite sure that I'm not. So don't get this Bespoke Tailoring hero skill, at least not before unlocking everything else over here. The Alchemist hero skill is called Out of Thin Air, and this one is actually pretty decent. It will give you a plus 50% chance of obtaining an extra potion after using it with any life. I don't know why they worded it this way, because they should have just said you have a 50% chance of not consuming a potion when you actually use one, because that's what it actually does. If we go over here, we have 20 high SP potions right now. I'll consume one. Now we have 19, so we kind of failed the like the coin flip. We have 19. Let's go check back, and we still have 19. So there's just a 50% chance that you won't consume a potion when you actually use one. So it's just a pretty nice little bonus that you can get as the Alchemist. And since the crafting lives are actually pretty easy, as in you probably won't actually need any more like alchemy or any more like minigame time limits, it's probably worth going for this skill as soon as you can get it. And then finally we have the Artist Life, where the hero skill is called Art Goes Kablam. It improves the potency of bombs for all lives and gives them plus 100% damage. So it doesn't give you plus 100% damage, even though that would be nice, just literally doubling your attack stat. It just gives 100% more damage to bombs. I've actually never used bombs in this game, or like barely used bombs, so I don't know if they are actually any good. They're definitely better than in the 3DS game, so if you like using bombs, you should probably get this, because double the amount of damage that you were dealing before is a pretty nice bonus. So with that, that's pretty much it for the hero skill bonuses. I do want to say there is one more thing that you unlock, or actually a couple more things that you unlock when becoming a hero in all of the different lives, and that is you will unlock all of these trophies. So there's going to be 14 different trophies in the game, one for every life. These are just things that you can display on your island, so that is pretty cool. You also get these over here, which are going to be the Pride lives. At first I thought these were really cool because I thought they were going to work the same way they did in the 3DS game, which over there it would basically make it so your skills grew faster in the different lives. So I thought in this game, since we don't actually have something we can like allocate our stats to, or we don't have any separate skills that we can level up, I thought this was just going to give us an EXP increase, but it literally doesn't do anything pretty much. The Paladin's one will give you 100 max HP, Mercenary will give you a little bit more attack. This one might actually be pretty nice, but it would be way better if they would give you something like plus 10% XP. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and you can't remake these prides, so they're kind of useless, I would say. And then finally, there's one more thing specifically for the Artist Life if you become a hero in that one, and that's because you will unlock the Graffiti Square when you become a hero artist. I don't know why, but I do think it's pretty funny. Let's actually check that out. I haven't changed to the Graffiti Square yet. So yeah, that's a pretty cool little thing that you can unlock. How do you do this again? I think it's like guild office and then change appearance, right? Yeah, so the square over here, and then you have to go to the graffiti square, which actually I kind of like how this looks. All right, Cook is done building, so let's head outside and take a look at how this looks. Oh my god, dude, this actually looks pretty cool, man. It obviously doesn't fit with like the rest of my island, but I also just haven't decorated my island, so I don't really care about that. But it would probably be a little difficult having this fit in with the aesthetic of your island normally, but I do really love how it looks. We got the Snapdragon over here. This is gonna be Gillen, I believe. Over here, that's like Odin and Damon, maybe. Is this like the little lighthouse thing, or like a Port Puerto thing from the 3DS game? I don't actually know. Dude, I love this one, man. Oh, this is the Flutter Charm over here. We got a little like a couple of leaves. Oh, dude, over here we have Lunaris. Oh, that is so nice. That is such a nice little reference. Yeah, really cool, dude. I kind of love the graffiti square. So with that, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what your favorite hero skill is, and if you have any ideas of some skill replacements we could get for some of the lives that have just really bad hero skills, I'd love to hear it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful and you want to see more stuff just like this, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Not even 5% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed, so I would appreciate it a lot if you would do so. Yeah, with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, later. Bye.